Today I'm going to review another autofocus lens from 7Artisans. I really like the 50mm f1.8 and now I'm going to review the new 85mm f1.8 that brings some welcomed improvements over their first AF lens. Hello everyone, my name is Andrei Dima, I'm a professional travel photographer and I love reviewing lenses, so for more interesting reviews, subscribe. The first thing I saw improved from the 50mm is the build quality. The 50mm was nice, but this one looks and feels a step forward. The AF on-off button is better than the one on the 50mm. On my copy that was a bit flimsy, very easy to turn by accident. The first thing you will notice is the function button. This was absent on the 50mm and it can come in handy. Just like the 50mm, the 85 has an aperture ring, but it is declicked. I know many people like aperture rings with clicks, but here is not the case, so videographers will be happy with this one. It turns nice and smoothly and it has a small click when you set it to auto aperture. The overall build quality is very nice, a metal body, metal rings and a metal lens mount that has an USB Type-C port, but no rubber gasket because this lens is not weather sealed. Hard to find weather sealed lenses in this price range. The focus ring is nice to use and turns smoothly if you want to use this lens manually or to pull focus. Sadly, there is very visible focus breathing as you can see here. The lens has a nice black smooth finish with engraved markings and a very simple design that would fit any camera pretty well. I like that they didn't put a visible branding on the lens. The branding can be found on the plastic lens hood that is quite nice for a budget lens. The filter thread is 62mm, just like the one on the 50mm, and the minimum focus distance is 80cm, closer than most budget 85mm lenses, but more on this later, and the lens weighs 447 grams. The autofocus is decently fast for a lens like this. While I used it, it was precise and I missed just 2 shots in crowded locations, so that is very good. The autofocus for video works nice and smoothly. I had no hunting problems or pulsing in the background. Too bad that there is visible focus breathing, otherwise it would have been a nice video lens. The image quality of this lens is surprisingly good, starting from f1.8, good contrast and good sharpness in the middle of the frame. For a budget lens, an exceptional performance, and the great news is that the corners look good as well. Not as sharp, but pretty sharp. Stop the lens down to f2.8 and the image quality is quite impressive from corner to corner. The contrast and details are impressive. Stopping the lens down further will just make the corners brighter and with better contrast. Chromatic aberrations are very well controlled wide open. Loca is visible at f1.8, but it goes away at f2.8. Flares are very well controlled for a budget lens, but I would recommend keeping the lens hood on if you shoot in bright conditions. Otherwise, you will lose some contrast in your frame. The minimum focus distance is 80cm, as I said, good for a budget lens. At f1.8, the image quality is a bit soft, it improves at f2.8. Overall, a good option for beginners or people on a budget. Very good build quality, nice metal rings, the autofocus is good and reliable in both photo and video. The image quality is impressive for a lens that costs around $300. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. In my opinion, 7Artisans did a great job with their first autofocus lenses. I know there are a lot of 50 and 85mm lenses out there, but these ones seem to be the best budget ones so far. So if you are looking for an 85mm f1.8 lens, I highly recommend this one. It is not perfect, but for the price, it is very good. If this video was helpful, please subscribe, like and use the links in the description at no extra cost to you. See you next time.